Hey everybody, welcome to Guilty Words, where we unravel crime one word at a time. I'm Chris. This is part 4 in our 11-part series on Ruby Franke's horrific diary, in which she gleefully detailed and justified child abuse. When we left off in part 3, her daughter E had been told to eat outside and then had the temerity when she was done to bring her plate over to Ruby, who was standing in the doorway watching her like a hawk, and take her sunhat off. Those were actions done without permission, and Ruby was not happy. In part 4, we see the consequences. Let's take a look at them together. July 14th, 2023, Friday. E woke up. I reminded her that if she whined, cried, or squinted her eyes at me or soured her face, I would be buzzing her hair. If she's going to act sick, she can look sick. She agreed with a smile. I told her because she didn't listen the night before, she would do 2 sets of boxes and stairs, with a 5-minute break. She did the first set easily and agreeably. After 5 minutes of rest, she began whimpering. When she got to the bottom stair, she slipped and dropped the box. I put her in the dog wash and shaved her head. Then back to the boxes. I told E, and there's something that was redacted, if she so much as squinted her eyes or soured her face, which could mean anything that Ruby could interpret for being that, I would be buzzing her hair. Her hair keeps getting shorter and shorter until there's almost nothing left. Ruby accuses her of faking the slipping. I don't think it was fake. She was lifting heavy, heavy boxes up and down stairs. And it's very possible, given her physical state, that she did slip. But that was all Ruby needed. She was looking for any excuse to buzz her head, humiliate her. I put her in the dog wash and shaved her head and told her something that we don't know. E, yes ma'am, with tears. Me, it's heavier than boxes, right? E, yes ma'am. Me, E, I can help you find relief. You have told so many lies about me that you refuse to be obedient. Why do you keep being buddies with Satan? E, I don't want to work. Me, don't you see it's because you follow Satan that you keep doing boxes? If you were humble, you would be inside making pancakes with somebody and me. E agreed to sit on the park bench and think about her choices. I made it very clear if she, and we'll continue in a moment. You have told so many lies about me that you refuse to be obedient. She hasn't told lies about her. She's told the truth about her. And Ruby can't hear that. To her, it's all lies. And this idea of, again, it's because you follow Satan that you keep doing boxes. If you were humble, you'd be inside making pancakes with the other child and me. But how can E ever be humble? She can't make a facial expression. She can't seem to do anything that will make Ruby happy. Let's keep going. E agreed to sit on the park bench and think about her choices. And I made it very clear, if she were to move, get up, fidget, talk, take her hat off, she would go back to work. E agreed eagerly. She promised to be obedient. After an hour on the bench, she began moving and looking around. I pulled her into the house and gave her more boxes. After an hour on the bench, this child sat motionless for an entire hour while Ruby watched, waiting for her to mess up. And all she did was move a little bit and look around. And that was enough. Ruby pulled her into the house. You can just see her saying, yep, got her, ran out, dragged her, and gave her more of these heavy boxes to lift up the stairs and down the stairs. Now to R. Me. You like sleeping on the hard ground? I slept in a soft bed. R. I slept really well. Me. You are mean. Do you enjoy being mean? R. Yes, ma'am. Me. Do you expect me to feed you? R. Yes. Me. I get big over him. I will feed R. I will not feed a demon. So I will check on you in a bit, and if you want food, then be prepared to tell the truth about your behaviors. Tell the truth of who I am. And then we'll talk about what happens in an hour. Tell the truth of who I am. What truth is R supposed to tell about Ruby? Who is he supposed to believe she is? Probably he thinks she's the devil right about now, but if you want food, then be prepared to tell the truth about your behaviors. There is nothing he can say that she will consider the entire truth and that she will accept from him. And he knows that at this point. It's been since May that he's been going through this. But tell the truth of who I am. It is all about Ruby and her control over these children and her power and the fact that she is really enjoying this. An hour later. Me, you ready? R, no ma'am. Me, so you would rather have no food and worship the devil? R, yes ma'am. Those two little lines Ruby uses to separate out individual stories on one day. E does first set of books decently, 10-minute break. E is upset to do boxes, gets them done. Sits on park bench, 1 minute, then picks Jijo's blossoms off plant, defiant. More boxes. She refuses. Goes to sleep on the basement floor. R, stand up. Stop picking your nose. The kids both pick their noses until they bleed. Distraction. Me, you happy? R, no. Me, following Satan doesn't make you happy? Shocker. So Satan can't feed you? Who is supposed to feed you? R, God. Me, and? R, Christ. Me, this is a game you play. Who brings you food? R, you. Me, do you want to leave the demons? R, I don't want to humble. Distraction, that's a Jody word. And they're starting to develop these nervous tics, like picking their noses until they bleed. Plus, with malnutrition, the body can't heal as well, so there may be more bleeding because they can't stop the blood flow properly. Are you happy? And then this sarcasm. Oh, you're not happy following Satan? And poor R he's not following Satan. He doesn't know what he's doing that makes his mother think he's following Satan. So when she says, who feeds you? He says, God, Christ. He's trying to come up with the right answer. And she's like, well, me. And do you want to leave the demons? And at this point, I would imagine that's a pretty scary thought, because what is she going to do to help him leave the demons? I don't want to humble. She keeps throwing that word humble at them, and it has become synonymous with being tortured. Who would want to be humble by Ruby's definition? But of course, Ruby's not done with the conversation yet. Continuing on July 14th. I told R I wanted to give him dinner with chicken. He needs to acknowledge his behaviors. He tells me he is missing his opportunity to repent. This is not acknowledging his behaviors. I tell R he is treating me and Jijo the way he believes he really deserves to be treated. And then something blacked out. I bring him dinner of brown rice, beans, lentils, and water. He takes the bowl and begins eating. I say, "No, thank you." "Are you going to acknowledge the woman you've been abusing just brought you dinner?" R, "Well, I would say thank you, but I wouldn't really mean it." With that, I reached down and grabbed his dinner and water and said, "Wow, wow." R tried going back on what he said with some explanation, and I stopped him. "I will not talk with a demon. Your soul is damned, and I will not hear your damnable words." Straight to bed. The woman you've been abusing just brought you dinner. Talk about flipping the scenario. She is the abuser, not him. And I will not talk with a demon. Your soul is damned. What a helpless position she has put him in. There's nothing he can do to do right by her, and even his soul is damned, and she won't even talk with him or his demon. And again, she's blurring the lines between the two. But how confusing for a child. July 14th continued. E has started walking stairs without a box. She is now slipping and falling on purpose. When E was outside today, and it was hot, she acted like she was dying. So pitiful. I told her, "E, the heat in hell is much hotter, and God is going to burn the wicked. So either get used to it or start changing." E, I really don't believe that's actually going to happen. Kids are all in bed. E ate mashed potatoes and turkey and milk. G, Joe, and Jay are looking at RV trailers. These kids have no idea the sacrifice is being made for them, or Jesus' sacrifice already made. Now Ruby has reached the point where E's physical deterioration is causing her to slip and fall. But to Ruby, everything is on purpose. E is trying to manipulate her. And outside, she acted like she was dying, so pitiful. Remember, we're talking 100-degree heat and no water. And then, when I'd already read this diary several times, I caught something that I hadn't even noticed before. Right here. So either get used to it or start channeling with a little smiley face, as if it's a funny joke and she's so clever. Your daughter is dehydrated. She ends up with sunburns where the skin is sloughing off. And you're like, "Get used to it or start changing, ha-ha." And that little smiley face, which is absolutely sickening. And this idea of they don't understand the sacrifices being made for them. No, what you're doing is arranging things so you can escalate your torture of these children. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and the other ones as well, and I really appreciate your comments. I try to answer them all as quickly as I can, and I like to see how you're dialoguing with each other as well. In part 5, R makes his first escape attempt. He can tell his mother's actions are escalating, and I imagine he's overheard conversations about the land and knows that bad things are coming. Unfortunately, he's recaptured, and things get even worse. We'll see you in the next video, and until then, please use your words wisely and well. Take care.